Well, it looks like I recorded that first video a little bit too early because just when I thought all of the information, all the breaking news today was done, there was one more left in the tank. They had one more in me. Brandon Vazquez is finalizing a deal to sign with CF Monterrey, Liga MX Giants, from FC Cincinnati in a deal worth up to 8.5 million, 7.5 of which guaranteed, with a sell-on clause as well for FC Cincinnati. It is a huge news. Let's get into it. This deal for Brandon Vazquez is surprising to me. Not in terms of Monterrey being a huge club, because them and Tigres and Club America and Chivas are some heavyweights in this hemisphere. But the fact that he was preferring Europe, and it just worked out that this deal is the best and made sense for all parties, and particularly early in the window. I think that shows that who knows what was going to come over the next few weeks, and it was an opportunity. I imagine that both Cincy and Brandon Vazquez couldn't let go. Middlesbrough in the English Championship bid less. It wasn't too close to the 8.5 million. I mean, maybe there could have been more negotiations, but they definitely wouldn't have paid Brandon Vazquez the same salary. I am told that he's getting a very handsome and well-earned pay raise with CF Monterrey. In terms of other interests, Middlesbrough was the strongest I heard. Looked at, Brentford, Hoffenheim, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and a few other teams were definitely interested, but Borough and Monterrey were the only official bids that came in this month, and really the strongest interest. And this was just, I guess, a deal that neither party could pass up. Vazquez is 25 years old. He scored 28 goals and 12 assists over the last two MLS regular seasons. He broke out in 2022 playing next to Brenner ahead of Lucho Acosta with, in Pat Noonan's and Chris Albright's new, high pressing transition system. And he absolutely blossomed. He's a U.S. international, but he's eligible for Mexico. He started his career in Mexico with Club Tijuana. So he counts as a domestic player in Liga MX and MX, and it makes a lot of sense why Monterrey would target him. They're not the first in Liga MX team to try to get him. Chivas USA, my goodness, that's a good typo. I'm not even going to edit that because I'm not really good enough at editing. Chivas Guadalajara had a $7 million bid rejected last winter. And that's something that, I'd imagine that they would have paid something similar to Vazquez since he convinced him to stay. Then in the summer, Gladbach was really pushing to bring him in the summer. He was wanting to go to that, but since he were insistent to keep Brandon Vazquez, to keep the core of their team together as they chased trophies, and they ended up winning a Supporters' Shield. And Vazquez and Alvaro Barrial as well bought into let's win a trophy and let's kind of leave as champions. So, fast forward now to the winter, since he couldn't stand in the way, if this was something that Vazquez wants, and he obviously wants it, since he couldn't reject a bid after promising him that they would move him on in the winter when, an acceptable bid came. So all in all, it's unreal to me the change that's happened with FC Cincinnati in 2 years. 2 years ago, they were an absolute laughingstock of this league. They were a joke. Chris Albright comes in, Pat Noonan comes in, changed the fortunes, not just to, that's an interesting team. They have some quality. Now they're almost a standard. There aren't many teams in a league that have kind of navigated both winning, selling players, and replacing. They've already sold Brenner last summer for north of 10 million, and he still hasn't debuted for Udinese because of an injury. And then they signed Aaron Bupenza immediately. So that's another high-level replacement that they brought in. Now Brandon Vazquez goes for 8.5 million in a big deal. Miles Robinson, they already signed earlier today. That was the premier free agent on the market, an U.S. international center back. So Cincy are finding the right balance of pushing for trophies, having quality, being competitive, and selling players and being part of a modern club, a global market. Lucho Acosta signed a new long-term contract. Miles Robinson's here. Matt Miazga's on a long-term contract. Obi Nwobodo, they're all under long-term contracts. This team's going to be awesome next year. They'd be better with Vazquez, obviously, because he's a very difficult player to replace, but they'll go right back into the market and look to replace him. Any forward ahead of Lucho Acosta is going to get plenty of chances. That makes the recruitment that much easier. Since you have a defined playing style and they know what they want, they know how they want to play. That makes the recruitment easier. So there's no reason to give anything other than, blind benefit of the doubt to FC Cincinnati in, where they go next. And again, no matter what, this attack starts with Aaron Bupenza, who won a Golden Boot in Turkey, and Lucho Acosta, the reigning MLS MVP. Anchored by Miazga, Nwobodo, and Miles Robinson. This team's going to be one of the best in the league again next year. I hope that this is my last video today. Don't expect 2 videos a day. This is, a banner, extremely busy day. I was actually leaving to go to the gym. Hashtag New Year, New Me. I need to, shred for the win, lose some weight here, and get in better shape. And I got to the bank, and I turned around when I was getting these texts and calls about the Vazquez stuff was happening. And now I'm sitting here making this video for you. So I please please enjoy it. Subscribe. Just is that part of the YouTube contract? I have to say things like smash that subscribe button and like. I'm gonna puke. I can't even look into the computer right now because that sounded so gross. Okay, hopefully tomorrow we'll run through another video and whatever. Hey, we'll see how it goes.